That down. Let's move on to this, shall we? Kraven the Hunter.
Woo!
Was a movie that I foolishly had some faith in and belief in. And while I understood like how bad Madam Web was and how bad Morbius was, hey, listen, you had J.C. Chandor directing this, who's a solid director. You had a solid writer writing the script, unlike Morbius and Madam Web. And I was like, and you have Aaron Taylor Johnson, also known as Ricky Tiki Taki, who I thought was a great casting for it. And I had belief. Oh, how wrong I was for over a year. Saying, no, man, I think you guys, I think there's a chance this movie could be pretty good. No, it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. Non-hyperbole. I think it's a top 10 worst Hollywood studio produced film ever. I think it's that bad. And I was like, so angry about it. But would people go out to see it? The answer to that is no. Nobody went to go see it, as it set a new record for the lowest. Well done, Kraven. For the
Let's go! Game day!
For the lowest opening weekend total of any of the DC, Marvel, or Sony-verse superhero movies of all time. Out of the DCU, DCEU, the MCU, and the Sony-verse stuff, the lowest opening box office, as Deadline is reporting, it opened to $11 million. You guys might remember, just a couple of weeks ago.
11.
The projections were 20 to 25 million.
Oh, those were the days of wine and roses.
And then, and which was already really bad. And then last week, before the movie opened, the opening weekend projections dropped down to 15, which we were like, oh my God, that's a complete disaster. It didn't even make that. Now, I want to put that in perspective for you guys. Let's look at the worst opening weekends of the three major studio superhero cinematic universes, shall we?
All right.
In Marvel, the fifth lowest opening weekend they had was Captain America: The First Avenger. This is when Marvel was just really building the superhero genre into being the dominant genre at the box office. This was at the very beginning stages. Captain America: The First Avenger made $65 million. The first Thor, again, in that same just starting stages of building the genre, Thor also made $65 million. The first Ant-Man had an opening weekend of $57 million. Down to the Incredible Hulk, that had a $55 million opening weekend. But the lowest opening weekend ever for the Marvel Cinematic Universe was The Marvels.
Phew, yuck.
That still made $47 million on its opening weekend.
Nothing could be lower than that, right?
You'd think. Well, let's go over to DC. DC's bottom five.
Okay.
Shazam 2 opened to $30 million. Aquaman 2 opened to $27 million. James Gunn, The Suicide Squad opened to $26. The Blue Beetle opened to $25.
All right.
And Wonder Woman 2 opened to $16.
Right.
Now, there's a little asterisk to put there with Wonder Woman 2,
Sure.
like with the pandemic and
then
day
it's
and date.
sucking.
What's that?
And then
it's sucking
I
also.
fell asleep twice to that. The first two showings.
And we were watching it at home.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was day and date it was streaming and in theaters at the same time and during the pandemic and all. So whatever, but still 16 million. And by the way, I like a number of these movies. Actually, I think except Wonder Woman 2, I like every single one of the movies, some more than others, but so that's the lowest in the DC. Well, now we go over to Sony. Their fifth lowest grossing film of their little cinematic Spider-Man universe was Venom 3, that opened to 51 million.
Start strong.
Morbius next was number 4.
Hope. There was hope there.
There was some hope there. I love the trailers for Morbius. I can't believe that movie turned out to be that bad. Anyway, it made $39 million on its opening weekend. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse opened with $35 million.
What a shame.
But it went on to do pretty well.
Yeah, but what a shame.
Madam frickin' Web opened to $15 million.
Right in the sweet spot.
And Kraven now sets the all-time record low
record.
You just made the list.
$11 million.
Look, John,
You go ahead.
No, I was gonna put this in perspective. The 11 million. You know what that paid for? Well, I'm reading up, and it cost $3,000 to $3,500 to rent a lion for 4 hours. So, as considering that was a
adds
real
up.
lion,
They
that
paid for it. They covered the expenses of the lion.
Yeah,
the
if that
fake
was a real
CGI lion.
Yeah, it wasn't, because that thing was a thick boy.
Okay, well then, who knows where that money went?
They almost made back the budget just for CGIing the lion.
They covered catering.
In a movie with Aaron Taylor Johnson that they came out and boasted because everybody said make it R and everybody go see it if you make it R. Oh, comic book movie should be rated R. Okay, they came out and said, hey, this is gonna be rated R. This is gonna be hardcore violent. I thought the trailers were decent.
It had a John Wick feel.
It had a John Wick feel.
Yeah, for a while I was like, I'm kind of like drinking the Kool-Aid here. I think this might be good.
And it ended up. Now I'm sure word of mouth had something to do with it, but still, they ended up making the lowest amount of all them ever since the superhero genre really began. Like this era of the superhero genre at the end, the lowest grossing of any of the major studios, $11 million. And now it's clear. It's funny because it's coming off the heels of Venom 3, which I didn't personally like.
Yeah.
But a bunch of people did. Like every time we talk about Venom 3, I have a lot of our viewers writing and saying, I actually kind of like Venom 3. That's fine. That movie made almost $500 million. Venom 3 made almost $500 million. And coming off the heels of that, Kraven. So it's clear that even in the audience's perception, the audience sees a separation between Venom movies and the Sony Spider-Verse movies.
I do.
Because they looked at Kraven and they didn't associate it with Venom. They associated it with Madam Web and Morbius.
Yeah.
We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, BetterHelp. Hey guys, it's John here. As kids, we're always learning new things, whether it's how to ride a bike, play an instrument, or even ace that math test. But as adults, it seems like we lose a bit of that natural curiosity. When was the last time you learned something new just for the fun of it? Like new skills, a new language, or maybe just how to finally beat your best friend at that game. Therapy can be a fantastic way to reconnect with that sense of wonder. It's like going back to school, but this time it's for you. It's about learning new coping skills, setting boundaries, and empowering yourself to become the best version of you. And the best part, it's not just for those who have experienced major trauma. It's for anyone looking to grow and learn more about themselves. If you've ever thought about starting therapy, why not give BetterHelp a try? It's completely online, making it super convenient and flexible to fit into your schedule. All you have to do is fill out a quick questionnaire and you'll be matched with a licensed therapist who fits your needs. Plus, if things aren't clicking, you can always switch therapists anytime at no extra cost. So rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Campea today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Campea. Take the first step to being your best self. Right?
Yeah.
And man, it is hard to conceive about all the things you need to do wrong for a movie to only open to $11 million. Like, this movie's going to lose $200 million.
The Spider-Man No Way Home re-release made half of that, I think, $5 million.
Yeah,
So-
they took an old movie, just dropped it in theaters, and it still made half that. I mean, they literally took a 10-year-old movie.
Interstellar.
With Interstellar, a 10-year-old movie that's available to stream, dropped it in theaters, and that made as much money as Kraven.
And it's still buzzing because there's people like my oldest daughter wants to see it a second time. And there's other people like
With Interstellar, you mean?
Huh?
Interstellar or
Yeah,
Kraven?
yeah, Interstellar.
Interstellar, yeah.
Yeah, a
Your
second
daughter does
time.
not want to see Kraven a second
No,
time.
never. Not even a first time.
Nobody should ever watch Kraven a second time. It's bad enough that you watch it the first time. All film is subjective. If you like Kraven, that's awesome. I'm just joking around here, but I mean, I think it's a truly piece of garbage movie. It's so bad.
Wow. See,
I mean, it's
does Sony believe in scrapping movies?
They really should have. They listen. This is again another example, because I can't remember which movie we were talking about just recently about this, but this is a movie that is another example of Warner Brothers had it right when they pulled the plug on Batgirl, because as bad of a state that the Sony Spider-Verse is in with the results of Morbius and Madam Web. They've only made it worse now with Kraven. It is absolutely a situation where they should have followed the lead. Like, there's no excuse. No executive sat in any screening room when they were looking at this film and putting together their marketing strategy. Not one executive in the world sat down and thought audiences are going to love this. Nobody was dumb enough to think that.
Battlefield Earth made more during opening.
In its opening weekend. And by the way, it is one of the lowest scoring cinema score. That cinema score is the one that actually canvasses audiences as they're coming out of the theaters. It got a C cinema score.
Oof.
Not many superhero movies score that low. That's a special kind of area. And yeah, man, it's whew.
It makes me so sad. I'm looking at the list of worst openings for films, and there's Kraven, but right above it is Paddington 2. How could you? Come on.
Paddington 2 so good.
Yeah.
I mean, in the words of Vader, their failure is now complete. $11 million.
That's Horizon and American Saga, Chapter 1 numbers. Right
really?
there. Yeah. Opening for Horizon was
that's right.
11,052,000.
And so congratulations, Kraven. You got up there with a totally failed Western.
Sorry.
Only at least Horizon was better. Horizon was better. Listen, so I kept a lot of people have written to me this weekend and said, John, in all your talks about Kraven and all that kind of stuff, you never actually told us whether you thought it was better or worse than Morbius and Madam Web. Oh, and I went back and I was like, you're right, I didn't. It's worse. I will rewatch today Madam Web before I will watch Kraven.
You
again.
did say it was better than Madam Web, but I don't remember you saying anything about Morbius.
Yeah.
It's definitely worse than Morbius.
I will say this. There's a movie that beat it by 300 million or 300,000, and that's Balls of Fury. If you guys haven't seen Balls of Fury,
Balls of Fury made more money
watch
opening
it.
weekend than this?
11,350,000
Wait a minute, total or opening weekend?
opening. 11 million.
Balls of Fury made more money than Kraven on opening weekend.
Yep, 11,352,000. If you guys haven't seen Balls of Fury, if it's not too old, go watch it. I find that movie so hilarious. It's just so funny to me.
Yeah, 11.
It's not quite like Dodgeball, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
Oh, but Dodgeball.
Dodgeball is a classic.
Dodgeball is awesome. Kraven, $11 million.
Well, let's hope this is it. Let's hope this is the last one Sony is doing of these spin-offs.
No, I want them to do more.
You do.
I do. You know why I want them to do more? Because I've seen they have the potential to make good ones.
Maybe put more care into it.
You and I both love Venom.
Oh, yeah. The first one.
Love the first Venom.
The second one's okay.
What they've done with the Spider-Verse stuff, with Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, those are, I have no problem saying, the two best Spider-Man movies ever made. The part of the thing that makes me so upset, like if I put a fourth grader at the 3-point line in a basketball court and they miss the shot, I'm not going to be disappointed. I don't expect a fourth grader to be able to do that. If I didn't think Sony has shown the potential that they can do great stuff with the Spider-Verse stuff, then I wouldn't be so upset about it. But it just really pisses me off when I've seen them do some good, entertaining stuff in this spider area, and then they crap the bed so hard. So I want them to make more. I just want them to not suck.
They have to make
Just
more to keep
be
that license.
Good. And they
Yeah.
have to make more to continue holding the line. They don't have to make more for a while because they've got Spider-Man Noir.
Yeah.
They've got Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, and they got Spider-Man 4 all coming. So
They can hopefully
they
reach-
got a number of years before
Yeah.
they have to make another one. But they will make more. I just hope just make it good. And I understand making a movie that's good is hard. It's really hard. But it's not hard. It's not hard to make something better than Kraven.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
You honestly, in my opinion, you almost have to try to make it as bad as Kraven. Like
Yeah.
there is some serious, not effort, but lack of effort across the board. Where everyone's like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But their battle too is not only making a good movie, it's actually getting people to care about these characters
Well,
that
now-
the
And
general public don't
But
know.
step one of that is
Yeah.
making good movies.
Right.
You know who else the audience never heard of? Audience had never heard of Guardians of the Galaxy. Never heard of them.
Yeah.
But you know what? Audiences loved them. They were great. And so people came out in droves more. And it was a part of a Marvel Cinematic Universe that had already started the process of building a reputation of having quality, fun, entertaining movies that the audience loved. So that's what Sony's got to do. They've got to lay that, they got to do what James Gunn is trying to do with Superman. Lay a groundwork of high quality. Listen, if Kraven was a great movie and it made $11 million, I would say the Sony exec shouldn't lose any sleep because it being so good will help the next movie. So that's fine. But being one of the worst cinematic pieces of garbage I've ever seen, combined with the fact that everybody's caught on and only made $11 million, a record low for the genre, at least in this era, I mean, that's a come to Jesus kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you're at Sony right now, you got to look in the fucking mirror and go, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, we got to just crank out these things to keep the rights to Spider-Man because we're making tons of money on the Marvel side. Granted, but you can make more money. There's money to be made here. Venom has shown it. So I just hope they learn from this. I really do.
That's the one thing we talked about last week is that their revenue is still, actually their profit is higher even with these losses. But my point last week was that the well is going to run dry. Eventually, Tom Holland is not going to continue being Spider-Man. And once that well is run dry and you don't have Venom and you don't have the Spider-Verse cartoons, you really got to get the ball running. Otherwise, you are going to be in a financial issue.
Well,
yeah, I mean, they definitely will. 100% they will.
How do you think this will affect the Mufasa box office? You think it'll be negative? You know, people are getting lion fatigue.
Like, where are you going with this? Well,
This was a prequel, right?
Fatigue.
Was this a prequel?
That's the lion.
That's it. I'm over these lions. You know what? Screw that Voltron movie too.
Lion is
I'm
my
so
favorite
tired of these
animal.
lions.
Come on.
I'm so tired of these lions. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? New record, baby.
New record.
Record low. $11 million for Kraven the Hunter. And listen, I hate saying, because I want to see every movie succeed. I really do. Even movies I don't like, I want to see them succeed. But it's hard to cheer for a movie that clearly nobody at the studio cared if it was any good or not.
Yeah. They're like, we're just doing this for
terrible
license.
movies. There are a lot of terrible movies that I know they gave their best, because making a good movie is hard. But I watch Kraven, I'm like, they didn't even care if this movie was good. I think Aaron Taylor Johnson was the only guy over there who cared if that movie was any good, because he tried. You could clearly tell that he tried. But anyway, guys, whatever you think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.